find that upward dog can be such a pain in the lower back? Me too. I'm Amy Slevin of Flow Motion Yoga, and I'm about to show you a few little things you can do to help ease that pain. Let's first understand why that might be happening. It's not necessarily the upward dog in itself is an issue. It's only an issue if you start to have that irritation going on, because our bodies are obviously capable of moving in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, but sometimes just the loading is too much that the tissues get irritated. Sometimes it's the frequency that's the problem. If you're doing a lot of upward facing dogs in a practice and a lot of practices in a week, the volume of those upward dogs could potentially be an issue. It may just be that you don't have the flexibility to go into the full expression of the upward facing dog, which means that you're jamming into your lumbar spine and causing that irritation. So it may just be wise to back off a little bit from that and not try and do your best, most spectacular upward facing dog, and just be a bit more humble about it. Just be like, When you're doing an upward facing dog, imagine Stanley is doing an upward facing dog. This is Stanley's pelvis, this is his spine. He is only a spine. This is kind of what your spine does in an upward facing dog. So you can see that most of the movement is happening down here. And so these small joints, if you can see them over here, these little facet joints, they press together when you're going into extension and certain other movements like rotation and side bending. And sometimes if they press together too long or too much, or if they're already a little bit irritated and you keep doing that thing that's irritating, they're gonna get more irritated. Like, just stop doing that. Okay, so let's get on with it. How do we avoid that pain? One thing I recommend to people if they have an issue that is caused by a repetitive action is to stop doing that repetitive action. It hurts when I do this. Well, then stop doing that. It's very simple. So we've decided that we're going to stop doing upward facing dogs for a while. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to do cobra, plank, chaturanga, knees on the floor, knees on the floor, put your feet flat, belly down, and lift your chest. Maybe even lift your hands and give your wrist and your hands a little cheeky rest there. 2 for the price of 1. You're welcome. From your cobra to a downward dog, you go bum up, push, and you just get the benefit of having stronger arms, and then into a downward dog from there. Start with your feet flat, then tuck your toes. Then feet flat, and tuck your toes. Do you notice that when you have your toes tucked, there's more pressure into your lumbar spine? That, very simply put, is because there's more pull on the front of your body as you're doing that, which puts more extension into your lumbar spine. A little technical, but who cares? Put your feet flat. Toes tucked, feet flat. The next one's very simple. It's just like a little baby upward facing dog, kind of halfway between a cobra and an up dog. Let's take it from a plank. Plank, chaturanga, bend your elbows, knees down, feet flat, pelvis down, and then you only lift as far as you can go whilst there's no pain, and then from there you push into your hands and tuck your toes, up you go into a downward dog, bob your uncle, fanny's your aunt. Pain-free is your upward dog. Now look at my lower back, just look at it. See what happens when I lift my knees, and then knees down. You can try this yourself. Knees up, knees down, knees up, knees down.
Wax on, wax off.
Knees up, knees down. Now I don't know if you can see this, but with my knees off the floor, there's more extension into my lumbar spine and it's more pinchy. So whilst it's true that with your legs straight and your knees straight, you're engaging more muscle fibers in your body, which solidifies your up dog position, it actually puts more pressure into your lumbar spine. So the moral of the story is, knees on the floor. Another really useful tip that I got from my first ever yoga training with Tripsikara Yoga is to pull your belly button towards your spine, because it helps to lift and elongate a little bit into your lumbar spine so you don't get that crunching. You can try this with your knees on and off the floor, and I definitely recommend that if you do have your knees on the floor, you really pull in, because it can be really tempting just to think, oh, my knees are on the floor, I'm okay. Nah, pull it in, and then it'll make your transition to down dog also a little bit more fluid and easier. Give it a go. Now I know that some of you die-hard yogis are not going to want to take upward dog out of your repertoire for a while. I understand that that's incredibly frustrating. However, you have a choice. Either you choose the pain of your lower back hurting when you're doing upward dog, or the pain of feeling like a little bit inept because you're not doing those upward dogs when everyone else is. Heinous. But that's the reality of the situation. You can't necessarily get rid of pain, you just have to swap one version for another. Charming. And also remember, it's only temporary. You can bring it back after your back has recovered. And when you do bring it back, you're going to ease in gently, which means that you're not going to go from not having done up dog for a month or a week or however long, and then suddenly you're going to go back massively hard into it. You're going to ease in gradually, just doing 1 or 2 per practice, and then gradually over time, seeing how you feel, you can do more and more. So there you have it, feet flat, knees down, maybe cobra, maybe don't go quite so high into your up dog, and remember to pull your belly button towards your spine, and that should help a little bit. Let me know how you get on.